Okay, so we'll send out a prayer to the technology gods that the internet stays on and doesn't kick me out again this week as we begin. So let's start just by sitting, or if you like, lying down. So Sandra, with the neck, something that might be a good place to start for you could be lying down to get a little support. So we want to encourage and support the muscles as much as we can to come into a balanced state. So it might be helpful to sit up, or it might be helpful to lie down. So I'll let you choose what feels the best. Welcome, Catherine. And so we'll just begin first, just stopping to feel the space of the body. And in this tradition, I like to do this practice using the 5 kosha image of our system. So on the most external level, we have this food body, this body of muscle, of bone, of joints. So first we notice this external part of our body and how it feels as we begin. And as much as possible, without too much of an opinion about how it should feel, just notice how it is. And if possible, even with a little bit of gratitude, this body is alive and well enough to bring me here, to give me this space, to bring my attention to myself. And then in this model, the next level, a little deeper, is the prana maya, the energetic part of our body. So when you hear that word, how's your energy? In German, it feels to me like this question, den Kreislauf, wie ist dein Kreislauf? So how is the experience of your energetic body tonight? Is there a heaviness, a lightness, a fluidness, or a sensation of stuckness? How is the circulation? Are the feet and the hands cold as we begin? The next level is the manomaya, the intellect. Is the mind feeling sharp, feeling a little bit dull, overwhelmed with information, or something different? The vijnanamaya, the level of the body that is our personality, really our character, tied in with maybe our triggers, how we perceive this reality around us. This part sometimes forms those opinions we're letting go of in this exercise. And the deepest level of ourself, the anandamaya. Ananda is unending joy or peace. And what does that even mean for you in this moment? Do you have a sensation that there's an aspect of you that is unending peace? And then we begin to watch the breath. And notice as you bring your attention to the breath, for most of us, it automatically changes the experience of the breath. So we turn a system of the body that is automatic into a conscious system of the body. Just by breathing, we invite the body, without words, without thought, we invite the body to feel safe. As my daughter Claire said yesterday, when she had a moment of breathing when she was anxious, she said it was like using the force. So it's not a thought, it's simply choosing to breathe deeply And your body knows what this means. So Sandra, the vagus nerve, it's a set of nerves, the vagus nerve. And this is a part of the nervous system that can help with this process of shifting from active, conscious actions into passive resting, digesting. And so as we breathe, taking deep breaths consciously, it already begins to activate the vagus nerve. And if you want to visualize through the center of the head, down through the center of the throat, even down to the heart, you can almost imagine as you breathe in, activating, we can call it the center channel, is the image that we have in the yoga tradition, down to the heart. And as we exhale, almost like a golden light moving up and down with the breath through the center channel, through this image of the vagus nerve down to the heart, residing in the heart. And inhaling down to the heart, exhaling up, maybe to the third eye, maybe even all the way to the crown of the head and out. Inhale back down. And we can use again this image of golden light. So if that image helps you, continue breathing deeply. Bringing in the golden light and exhale, releasing it. And then we're just going to shift the exercise a little bit. Inhale, you're going to inhale both nostrils. And when you exhale, you're just going to close one side. Let the hand come down after exhale. Inhale both nostrils. Exhale one side. So you're going to switch every time you exhale. Simple version, Nadi Shodhana. Inhale. Exhaling. Continue breathing as I speak. Inhaling both sides and exhaling, switching. And this image of Nadi Shodhana is an image in the yoga traditions. Through the center channel, there's two energy channels that sort of make a double helix spiral through it. One is associated with the left side, one associated with the right side of the body. And these channels end through these passageways through the nostrils. So when we inhale both sides, we're energizing both sides of these nadis. And as we exhale one side, we're calming the energy on one side. So Pratiloma Ujjayi is the technique. And it means moving with the grains. Like if you are rubbing your hand along a piece of wood, the grains move in one direction. And if you go against it, it's a little rough. This is moving with the grains. So this is a calming of the system. And you can imagine, Sandra, this image of the vagus nerve with the two sides, calming one side, energizing them together, exhaling the other side. So just notice that. Continue breathing. When I've done intensive series, sort of the home study I've given people is each day do at least 5 minutes, something like 12 breaths of this alternate nostril variation. And those of you with years more experience than I have in this tradition, whatever mudra you like to use, feel free. Mirka calls this kindergarten version, very simple, just touch the nose. I like to come back to this kindergarten version. It's very simple for the shoulders and the neck. And then we'll come back to more of a normal flow of breath. And Sandra, just some things for you to consider as we move forward with more movement in the standing. So if you're up, I'm going to turn myself to the side here. So just think about the posture. You don't have to fix it. Your posture is not broken. Instead of thinking about what the posture should look like, notice how changing your posture impacts this experience in your neck and shoulders. And so you're just doing an experiment to find information. So whether you're standing or whether you're sitting, some things to try. So most of us, when we're not consciously paying attention to the posture, the upper back is naturally a bit rounded. The chin is often up. So this is also sort of our cultural norms, given the activities that many of us are doing through the day. And I know, Sandra, you're on the computer a lot as well. So just notice sort of what comes natural in your posture. And then just try a few variations. So something I found useful in my posture is to think about the front of the chest moving upward. When you lift the front of the chest upward, it flattens a little bit the natural roundness of the upper back. It changes what the shoulder is. So I'm not even shoulder back. I'm just letting them follow what my upper back is doing. So normally I'm a little rounded. As I lift this part of my chest up, the shoulder plates are required to come together. There's some activation of the strong muscles in the upper mid back. And just notice how that, if at all, impacts your neck and shoulders. And then another thing you can play with, the sensation, is notice what happens if you imagine you can take the back of your neck towards the wall behind you, and at the same time drop the chin down a little bit. So you're sort of uncurving the natural curves of the spine. And so as you play with this position, just notice where your boundaries are. So this standing like this or sitting like this might create irritation. So back off and notice what for you feels comfortable. So it might be that there's tension, discomfort, no matter what you're doing. Notice if the quality of that experience changes based on these little movements of lifting the chest, pushing the neck back, dropping the chin, and then coming back to a more natural position. So it's a very subtle thing. And all the while, continue letting the breath be slow and deep. This Ujjayi technique, like you're saying the letter H, but with the lips closed. So useful now variations of their own posture. So Sandra, when I look at Matisse's, so for him to do a more extreme version of this is uncomfortable. He actually has the vertebrae touching together here. So for him, this sensation that I feel might look very different. So notice what it feels like for you and forget about what it's supposed to look like. And find the spot that minimizes any discomfort you might feel, if at all. And then with this awareness of posture, we can move to standing. I'm just going to shift my camera here so we can see a little more of the room. So take a moment, feel the feet under your body. So even though it's cold here in Germany, I still like to practice with your feet, sort of high practice. My feet have socks on them because they're not warmed up yet, but my feet are warm. The room is warm. And just take a moment to really feel your feet touching the floor. Feel the 3 points under the feet, the heel, the big toe ball of the foot, and the little toe ball of the foot. Legs are awake and active. And then again, notice with this posture, if you were doing this sitting before, what it feels like just to lift the sternum a little bit. Notice if your low back feels tight when you do that. So you find there's a little bit more to work with here. So some people lifting the chest automatically arches the back a little bit. So see if you can find a comfortable way to stand up straight, almost like you're trying to lift the very top of the head just a little bit. And then we're going to come back to this image of light and sort of the center channel of the body. So now we're going to reach up and imagine above you there's a light. Bringing that light between your hands. And as you exhale, bringing the light down across the face, the throat, the heart. One hand can stop on the heart and the lower hand on the belly. Inhale, reach up. Find that source of light and exhale, bringing that light all the way down. So do that a few more times. Reaching up. So this is gentle tonight. So we're not really trying to like work all the muscles, activate everything. This is more about this sensation and up. And just some little tips with the neck and the head. So if whatever version of this uplifted chest posture works for you, see if you can keep it engaged as you lift up. And as you drop in, feel like almost like you can imagine all behind you, as if you're going to bring the back of the neck behind you a little bit. And then as you come up, just let the neck arch, chin lift up and back down. And again, Sandra, for you, since there's some acute irritation, just move with what feels the best. Pause here for a moment. And then let's do some simple circles of the shoulders. both directions. And just a couple times, keep the hands. Today we're going to keep the hands on the body. Lift the chest up, slide the hands down, let your belly come onto your legs, bend the knees as much as you need to, let the head come down, slide the hands to the floor. As you inhale, first lift the head up and the back of the neck, shoulder blades together, reaching towards the sky. Push the feet down as you lift, and exhale, come back down. Whatever version of Uttanasana feels nice, feel free to do it. Otherwise, just keep it simple, moving the body. If it feels comfortable to keep the head down, stay in the posture for a few breaths. If it's not so comfortable, then keep moving dynamically or come halfway up. And then wherever you are, we're going to come to a position where the shoulder blades come together, the back is nice and straight. Maybe open the arms if that feels safe for your low back, and exhale, come down. So we're going to do this sort of what I call halfway up, even though for many of us, halfway is a little bit higher than half. So come enough to get holds engaged, and then come down. So Sandra, this is a little bit like a 7-minute workout or whatever that is that your brother's doing right now. Arms can come out and up, just a different pacing. So just a few breaths. If it feels safe and feels comfortable for your body, stay here for a few breaths. Keep the elbows up, the hands up, shoulder blades together. Few breaths, feeling the core of the body, feeling the back, not overworking. And then when you feel like you've done enough, feeling the activation of the low back, then you come down, all the way down or halfway down. Let the back lengthen. Take a few breaths. And as you feel ready, we'll come back up to standing. Great. So just a simple twisting movement. We'll take the feet a little bit wider. Start with the hands low. And we're just gonna open the hands to one side. Follow the fingertips behind you. Come up onto the ball of the foot on this back foot that you're turning away from. Almost like you can feel lengthening through the front, through this opposite shoulder to the fingertips, and then back, watching the hands, and then switching to the other side. So find a breath rhythm that serves you in this posture. You can do it faster or slower. So a few rounds with the hands down. Mirka likes to give this beautiful image, blessing the earth with the hands as you come back. In times of heaviness, you can also think of receiving energy from the earth as you reach out. So in this practice, we're like an antenna. We can send and receive. So as we need energy, we open the palm, turning, receiving from the earth. And then we can take the hands a little higher, shoulder height, reaching back. So each of these positions, Sandra, has a different impact on the shoulder and neck. So just be gentle and watch what you feel. This time, receiving strength from the trees, the forests, reaching out. Angela and I here, we have a forest just a few hundred meters away. So you can almost see it behind as you reach. Watch how the neck feels, shoulders, the breath moving slowly. And then hand a little bit higher now. So receiving strength from the clouds, from the sky. From the stars at night. So for Catherine, she can reach to the blue skies or maybe the cloudy skies right now in Hawaii. And we here in Europe can reach towards the stars. And then eventually come back towards the center. And let's take the feet wide apart here. Again, feeling those 3 points under each foot, samastiti, equal weight on both sides. Slide the hands down, either hands to the knees or all the way to the floor. Let the head come down. Take a few breaths. And we're going to do, it's not a twist, it's more like a side stretch. We're going to walk the hands towards one foot and reach. So I'm more towards the right side. So I'm reaching my left hand over. So see if you can feel like you're lengthening along this side body. So a little bit behind that shoulder, let the head come down. Let the shoulder that's reaching stay down, like the heart is facing towards the floor. Knees can be bent however much they need to be. And then we can walk the hands over to the opposite side, reaching the hands, so stretching behind this shoulder that's towards the center between the legs, reaching it away. Come back to the center. This time we're going to walk the hands over to the other side again. Bend this knee nice and deeply if you can. Imagine like you're going to try to bring your head towards your knee as you exhale. So this opposite leg is lengthened, maybe feeling a little bit on the inner thigh. Then we'll walk the hands over, bend the other knee. Stay here. Imagine you're going to take the head towards the foot as you exhale. And each time you inhale, we're just going to switch. So nice and gentle, using the hands to support. Head down as you exhale and switch. If you want to work the strength of the legs a little more, just picking the hands off of the floor. So you're balancing on the feet and carrying all the weight with the legs as you switch for each exhale. Going as deeply or staying as high as you need to stay, just to feel the strength of the legs, a little bit of the lengthening, stretching sensation for some of us in the legs. And then eventually, when you feel like both sides have worked a bit, then just come back to the center. Prasarita Padottanasana, letting the back lengthen. We'll come all the way up, but this time as you come up, we're going to pause halfway and then slowly come all the way back up. Beautiful. And bring the feet together. Let's come down to the hands and knees. So we're going to just do Chakravakasana. So I'm going to remind you, Lotta really liked this way that we did it. So I'm going to, for Sandra, I'm going to suggest that you work with it this way. We've done it before when we were in Beckham. So with this posture, as you inhale, come forward, feel like you're bringing the sternum forward, the shoulder blades come together. As you come back, the first thing you do, let the head drop, let the elbows bend as you move back. So there's a softness to the neck, the shoulders as you come up. So the tendency for many people is to keep the arms straight and just pivot through the arms. So I'm asking you to change that. So drop the head, soften the shoulders, elbows down, and then let the body move back. So the head and shoulders just follow. Even letting the muscles of your face relax. You can even feel gravity in your cheeks, pulling towards the earth. And as you come up, you move against gravity, shoulder blades together. Exhale, head down, shoulders soft, elbows soft. And then if it feels appropriate for your neck, Sandra, and everybody, of course, we'll just do a gentle twist. So we're going to take a shoulder towards the floor here. You can stay here with this arm, whatever position supports you. So I enjoy putting the arm over the head. It kind of feels an openness behind that top shoulder. The arm can come into whatever position feels right. For sometimes when I do this, it feels more comfortable for the hand to be close to my legs. And other times it feels better for the hand to be up at shoulder height or so. So play with this posture for a few breaths. After a few breaths, come up. Pause a moment. And then switch to the second side. Other shoulder to the floor. Breathing here. Find the position of the lower arm that supports what your shoulder needs. And your neck as well. Come down, back to the center. Let's lie down on the back for a moment. And then Sandra, with the next posture, this one is optional for you. So Matthias doesn't like to do this posture. So we do it, or we do a variation of it where it stays very low. So this is the little bridge, Dvipadapitam. So see how your neck feels. If you can lie without blanket or anything under the neck, then do that. If you need support for the neck, then you'll do a lower version of this posture. So you can take the arms as wide as you like, lift up on inhale, and exhale, come down, just one vertebra at a time. Imagine you're trying to experience the sensation of your spine unwinding like a chain, one piece at a time. So what can happen if there's some neck tension? If you come up high in this posture, it just feels tight and uncomfortable in the neck. So for your brother, we only come up to about the bottom of the rib cage and then back down. So that might feel better for your spine and for your, particularly your neck, but play with that and see what feels good. The idea is to focus on releasing the spine as you come down without creating irritation in the upper back or the neck as you come up. And then from here, the next time you come down, both feet on the floor, we'll take one knee away from the floor, one foot off of the floor, keep the other foot on the floor. Just inhale, lifting the foot up, heel towards the ceiling, feet, toes turn down towards your body. Exhale, let the foot release, bend the knee. Inhale, reaching up. And back down. If you like, you can integrate movement of the arms as well. So you can lift the hands overhead as the foot comes up and bring them down. Or if you prefer, just leave the arms somewhere on the floor supporting the posture. This movement is just checking the balance of the muscles through the front and the back of the leg. So as you come up, engaging all the muscles from the front to the hip flexor. As you exhale, lengthening the front of the leg. Inhale up. Notice how your knees tracking this evening. And eventually let your foot stay up. So it's not important that the leg is straight, just that the muscles are activated in the front side of the leg. So if the back of the leg is a little bit tight, the knee is going to stay bent, but it's fine. You're still getting that lengthening through the back and work through the front. And if you need support to keep the leg up, just use the hands, or you can use a towel. And then just a few breaths here. Keep the leg up if you can. Point and flex the foot. Notice the muscles, the low leg, ankle, foot. From here, maybe some circles. Again, feeling the awareness of the ankle, foot, lower leg. And then again, keep the foot up. You can let the foot relax. Don't have to hold it flexed. And then just a few breaths. Inhale, let the straight leg move towards the floor. And exhale back up. So inhale towards the floor. And exhale up. So just going down as far as feels comfortable for you. Halfway down might be good for tonight, or more or less. Just inhaling as you move down. Exhaling up. And what we want to notice is how the muscles in the hip flexors, sort of this hip, how it's responding. Because we want to activate, heat up these muscles without creating irritation through the body. The back needs to feel safe and stable. If the hip is ready to rest, then let that leg come down. If you feel like you want to go just one step further, an optional variation is doing the same exercise, but now out to the side. Make sure both hips, both butt cheeks stay on the floor. So you may not be able to go as deeply on this side without losing control of the posture. Just moving, activating a little bit more the inner thigh.
And when you feel like those muscles in the hip have been activated sufficiently, then just bring the leg down to the floor, rest, and notice the sensation of circulation. You can stretch out both legs if that feels good, or keep the one leg bent if that's a good support for the back. If you have both legs lengthened, just notice if there's a difference between one side and the other. And then as you feel ready, we'll do that same sequence now with the other leg. So bend the knee, one foot on the floor, the other foot away from the floor. And a few breaths. Inhale, lengthening the back side of the leg, engaging the front side, and exhale, release. Inhaling up, heel up, toes towards the floor, and release. Find the rhythm of your breath. Deep inhale, long, smooth exhale. After a few breaths, we're going to try to stay with that leg lifted up, the foot up. A few breaths, just holding the foot flexed, engaging the whole front side of the leg. Eventually just pointing and flexing the foot, noticing the whole lower leg, the foot. So this is really, I use this asana a lot for just checking the tracking of the knees, the ankles, support for balance. Eventually some circles with that foot. So bringing awareness, activation to all those small balancing muscles, ligaments in the foot, the ankle. And then a few breaths with the legs straight, down as far as you comfortably can come down, and exhale up. So like before, we're not going necessarily for a number of repetitions. We want to see what's happening in the hip flexor. Feel it warming, lengthening, heating. If your hip is clicking, so I've had several clients, even my 13-year-old who kind of messed up her foot a little bit, had a clicky hip. So if you go down and your hip goes click and it's an uncomfortable clicking, don't go down that far. So go down only as far as before you feel some kind of click or adjustment, and then come up. So work in that safe space until you better understand what's going on there with the physiology. After you feel that activation and heating, you can either rest, or if you want to turn the attention to the inner leg, then inhale to the side and up. So just keep moving, controlling the motion. Keep both sides of the hips on the floor, feeling the activation without creating irritation. And then whenever you feel like you've activated, heated up this other hip, then bring the leg down, rest both sides. And when you're ready, we're going to come to sitting, either on the floor, or I'm going to do the sitting with the chair. So Sandra, if you have a chair nearby, take a chair, because I want to show you a variation that we can do with the chair that can be more supportive, I think, for the neck and shoulders. So whether you're sitting on the floor, on a cushion, or on a chair, we're just going to have the legs in front of us. So when I'm on a chair, I'm sitting towards the front of the chair, both feet on the floor. I'll move over a little bit here.
There we go. So we'll do a version of Paschimottanasana, so seated forward fold. So just let the hands come down. Let the spine lengthen forward. Actually, I'm going to move my chair here because I have felt slippers under my chair. So a little bit of friction on the chair lets you come down. And when you come up, we're going to inhale, shoulder blades together, back, engaged. And as you exhale, reaching down. So with the arms coming down on the legs. So I recommend arms down if you're having irritation on the shoulders. If you want to work a bit more the upper back or the whole back, really, just let the arms be next to the head as you come down and up. But I find having the hands trace on the leg is less tension for the neck and shoulders if you're already starting the practice with tension. So soft, soft, soft. There's no advanced version aside from the version that requires most attention, presence in your body. Good. Maybe stay in this posture for a breath or two if it feels comfortable. Otherwise, continue moving dynamically. And then we'll come up. And we'll move into a version of a seated twist. So if you're sitting on the floor and you want to cross the legs, or whatever favorite leg variation for a seated twist, take whatever leg position feels appropriate. And on the chair, we're going to use the fact that we have this thing behind us here. So you're going to sit up nice and straight, take a nice breath. And then you can take one hand to the opposite knee and use the back of this chair to find a way to both rest the hand and also hold on to the back of the chair. So this grip on the back lets us twist a little bit deeper. And at the same time, the shoulder, try not to bring it too high up to the ear. Let the shoulder hang down, the shoulder down. You can look behind you, or maybe you can look over that front shoulder. Or if both positions feel useful for you, you can change positions as you're breathing. So we're just going to hold this position, letting the breath come in and out. With the arm holding on to the chair, you might feel a little bit of tension or lengthening or stretching through the front of the shoulder, of the rib cage on one side. And if you turn away from that arm, you might feel a little bit of lengthening, or depending on what's happening, a little bit of tension. So do what feels comfortable. Either keeping the head in one position or alternating positions as you breathe. And the hands are here to support the twist, but not to force the twist. As you take a deep inhale, you might feel like you untwist just a little bit. Just as you exhale, let your body move in that twist a little deeper. And this is your reminder not to eat dinner before yoga practice on Wednesdays. And then eventually we're going to release that twisted position and sit in the center for a moment. Before you change sides, give yourself the space. For me, it feels like a towel getting wrung out. And As I come to center, it kind of slowly unwinds to a neutral position. So I let that sensation of unwinding happen first. Notice how one side feels compared to the other. Check the posture that it's uplifted. And then as you feel ready, you'll just come to the second side. So take your time. If you're still letting the body untwist, we'll come into the posture. We're just staying about 2 or 3 minutes, 8 to 10 breaths. Again, use the back of the chair to help that arm engage, but also feel a bit relaxed. Check the position of the head and what feels most useful to you. The chair is really useful here because one advantage you have when you can wrap deeply in sort of a twisted posture is you get a little bit of leverage by holding on to a body part that can help position the shoulder in a way that you feel a little bit of release. And this is a simple way to create that sensation of traction, but instead of holding on to a body part, you're holding on to the chair. Just breathing deeply. Notice if this side feels different than the other side in the twist. And as we feel like the second side comes to completion, so stay a bit longer if the body needs a little longer, come back to the center as you feel complete. Let the body unwind. Just a gentle forward fold. So if you're in the chair, you can come just part way down if you like, or all the way down. Just let the shoulders relax, the neck release. Let the spine come forward in a symmetric movement. And then from here, we're going to come down to a resting position. So whatever resting position feels appropriate for you tonight, move into that. If the energy's there and you feel comfortable, you can stay in a seated position. Otherwise, lie down. Give the body a moment to release. And then in this resting time, just notice how this hour or so of movements and discussion sit with you. I think I missed recording the beginning of our discussion here, but coming back to this image. So when Sandra asked how I was doing, and my reflex was to say, oh, I'm good. And then remembering, wait, there's a heaviness tonight. It's been a tough couple of days. And so in this gathering, at least, we come with whatever we're carrying. We don't have to pretend or perform a version of ourselves. But in this space of practice, we also don't have to fix the problem. This is the practice of closing the door to all of the details for just a moment and just seeing how our physiology is in this moment. And it can be changes in our physiology come from all kinds of different things, can come from long time ago, can come from something that just happened, can come from all kinds of things. So in this moment, it's not about fixing the cause. It's about seeing how we are. And if there's an interest to shift that energy, and if there's a capacity to shift that energy, we can do that with some of these practices. So the vagus nerve stimulation, all of the movements we do and the movements of the neck, that can all help, but really the support, the biggest support we give to the vagal nerve is through this conscious deep breathing, because this nerve innervates all kinds of organs. And so the lungs, the heart, the deep physiology, the aspect of our nervous system that functions without our choice. And so we bring conscious awareness to the mechanism of breathing, activating this set of nerves that supports us even when we're not bringing our attention to them. And through conscious relaxation, activation of the muscles in the neck, we can bring circulation to the place where this set of nerves moves down into the system. And in this time of relaxation, we let go control of the breath. We trust our physiology to take care of us as we rest. Om Dio Shantiranta Yakshagam Shanti Prithvi Shantirapam Shantiroshataya Shanti Vanaspataya Shanti Vishve Deva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagam Shanti Shanti Evam Shanti Satma Shanti Redi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we allow the light of peace that pervades everything everywhere to touch our heart, even in times of darkness, so that we be reminded that we don't have to do it all. The light and peace is there. And sometimes we can allow it to touch our heart. So begin to invite another conscious breath. Awaken the breathing system. Stretch the fingers, the toes, the legs, and arms. And make your way back to sitting. And any peace we may find in our heart in this moment, may it be a gift for ourselves and all beings everywhere. Lokaha samasta sukhino bhavantu. For ourselves and the benefit of all beings. Thank you.